Welcome to another episode of 531, where we talk about one topic in up to 3 slides in under 5 minutes. Today we're talking about the Cadence, and this is an operational framework by David Sachs. One of the most difficult things to do as your company grows is having the whole organization move together. The Cadence is an approach that does just that. This approach aligns 4 functional areas into 2 quarterly systems that connect into one company cadence. So what does that all mean? Well, let's dive into it a little more. Let's begin by talking about the 4 functional areas and their cycles of work. Starting with the product team, they start each of their cycles prioritizing their backlog for the next big release. From there, they design the features and functionality, develop and test, and maybe launch a beta version to a limited customer base, and finally go live with a major release in production. Aligned with this cycle of work is marketing. They start their cycle by planning a launch event for the next big release. They build campaigns and prep for the event. As they near the date, they'll rehearse and preview to internal stakeholders. And finally, in parallel to the major release, they'll conduct the launch event to showcase all the new features and functionality. These 2 areas form System 1, and they align and drive towards the release and the launch event. The next area is sales. They begin their cycle of work with forecasting the quarter. From there, they put their sales team to work, prospecting, nurturing, and selling. About halfway through the cycle, they'll inspect their pipeline and make adjustments, and then drive towards quarter close, trying to hit their sales targets. Aligned to the same calendar is finance. They start their cycle evaluating and refining their financial models. They'll track and update the financials within that quarter, continue with benchmarking the company's performance, and finally conduct all their closing activities at the end of the fiscal quarter. These 2 areas make up System 2, and they align on the fiscal calendar, driving towards each quarterly close. So how do these systems fit together? Well, these 2 systems essentially work on 2 separate quarterly calendars with a 45-day offset. Looking at System 1, the product and marketing team drive towards the launch event that lands right in the middle of the sales cycle. The sales team can leverage the event to build anticipation in the market and then warm up their leads after the event to try to close and hit their sales targets. You can start seeing how these systems align and feed off of each other. But let's take a closer look at how these 2 systems actually interact together. We'll outline how this looks within one quarter, kicking off with Q2 of the product and marketing calendar. In month 1, product is busy coding for their Q2 release. Marketing begins planning the next launch event, knowing what has been prioritized in the backlog. On the sales side, they're working hard to close new prospects, leveraging the previous launch event in Q1. As we near the end of the month, the sales ops team begins prepping for the next cycle with the sales kickoff for product's Q2 release. The fiscal quarter ends, and finance begins closing activities while the sales team can finally take a breather. Moving to month 2, product managers present at the sales kickoff with what's on deck for the Q2 release. It's in the middle of this cycle that the board meeting is held, and it will include financial and sales updates from Q1, and then forward-looking projections for Q2. And this includes updates from product and marketing for the upcoming major release and launch event. At the end of the month, we have our code freeze as the marketing team moves into their final preparations for the launch event. Finally, in this last month of the cycle, marketing is the main focus as they gear up for the Q2 launch event. Product gets to take a breather in this short stage as QA and the beta release finishes up. The launch event occurs, and the sales team, which is already busy selling, leverages the event to warm up their leads as they move into the back half of their sales cycle. After the launch, marketing takes a break, and product managers finalize their prioritization of the backlog for the next major release in Q3. And this whole cadence starts again. And there you have it. That's the Cadence by David Sachs. It's 4 cycles of work that align into 2 systems, a 45-day offset between those 2 systems, which drives the whole organization in lockstep into one cadence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.